My job is being a teacher, but I think Chad, please thank the teaching that's gone on here, the teachers Chad, Deb, and Roger for sharing all of this good information.
Yeah.
And thank you to all the people who planned today, made today possible. There was a lot of hard work, and thanks for all of you for showing up. These are tough times. We recognize that. Tough economic times have beset our nation, in fact the world. This has been called the Great Recession. It's brought challenges to many of us. But if you look closely, it's also brought opportunities to some. There are those who look at the current state of the retirement system and they see an opportunity to force the ideological changes they have wanted to make for years. The recession has caused a significant increase in the number of applicants for jobs that have traditionally been difficult to fill, jobs like teachers and policemen. Where once we had difficulty recruiting quality teachers, fewer teachers are leaving, and currently it's easier to staff the available positions. But just as the monetary loss in our retirement system is temporary, the stock market will recover, the abundance of job applicants won't last forever, and before you know it, we'll be right back where we were, a severe teacher shortage and a growing student population. If Utah really wants to attract and retain the best teachers, and we know that a quality teacher is the #1 factor in student achievement, if we want to attract those best teachers, if we want to attract the best school staff, policemen, and state employees, we cannot continue to cut compensation. Over the years, teachers have lost professional development and preparation days. Like other public workers, we've had furlough days. They've lost funding for training, and they have seen out-of-pocket expenses for insurance skyrocket. They've paid for background checks, relicensing fees, and classroom materials out of their own pocket. Add to this a workload that is increased with additional testing mandates, a broader spectrum of student needs, and growing class sizes that are already the nation's largest by a large margin, and you can see that the incentives to enter the teaching profession in Utah are dwindling. The one incentive that remains for all of us is a solid retirement system. And Utah has the highest rated system in the country, according to Forbes magazine. Defined benefit retirement systems are an effective recruitment and retention tool. Research shows that workers with pensions are 17% more likely than workers without pensions to stay at their job in any given year. And there are other reasons the defined benefit plans are particularly important to the public sector. Public sector jobs such as teaching, public safety, and criminal justice are usually quite specialized, thus lending themselves to longer-term employment relationships. Many of our occupations have few equivalents in the private sector. Defined benefit pensions provide incentives for employees to make investments in skills that are not easily transferable to the private sector. Public sector workers also have longer tenures than their private sector worker counterparts. The median tenure of public sector workers is 7.7 years compared to 5 years in the private sector. To put this into perspective, in a school district like Salt Lake with about 1,400 teachers, they would need to hire an additional 500 new teachers every year if they had the same level of attrition as the private sector. At last, the private sector offers benefits public jobs cannot, such as stock options and profit sharing. Defined benefit retirement plans are one of the few recruitment tools we have available in the public sector. There is much more at stake here than just employee retirement benefits. The system that was created decades ago by public employees for public employees remains solid. To disrupt this system may well disrupt the state's economic viability and the ability to staff crucial infrastructure positions. It may well put children, communities, and Utah's future at risk. While some adjustments to the retirement system may be necessary and prudent, those changes cannot and should not be made in haste, and certainly not without considerable exploration of potential consequences. That's why we implore the legislature to please proceed with caution. Appoint a task force to carefully consider all sides of this critical issue before making decisions. In conclusion, on behalf of the Utah Education Association, I want to thank our friends at the Utah Public Employees Association, the Utah School Employees Association, and the Fraternal Order of Police, and to all of you for being here today. I know how busy you are, and I know how valuable these Saturdays are, but it's vitally important to show we are united on this very important issue. You're going to leave here in a few minutes. Here's your homework. I encourage each of you to go back to your places of employment, your schools, your offices, your police cruisers, and tell your coworkers what you learned here today. Talk to your neighbors, your family, and your friends. But most of all, talk to legislators. Each of us has a senator and a representative. Give them a phone call, write them a letter, or send them an email. If you need more information on retirement, on why this issue is important, on how to contact legislators, go to our website, utea.org, or to your association's website for details. We need to tell them loudly and clearly, this isn't just about our future. This is about the future of Utah. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Drive safely and make sure on your way home you proceed with caution.